Welcome to Citizen Spotlight, where we highlight influential Menomonee Falls citizens and their noteworthy contributions to our community. Today's spotlight is on entrepreneur and businessman Frank Koehler. Frank was born in Mequon, August 1, 1859, and was one of 13 siblings, the family having come to America 11 years prior. As a boy, Frank helped to clear the trees from the homestead. At an early age, he apprenticed himself for 3 years to a wagon maker in Thiensville, where he made 10 cents a day, and then moved on to Theresa for a year or two before returning to Menomonee Falls. At the age of 22, and with the money he had saved, he bought out Grimmer, a local blacksmith, and opened his wagon shop, soon developing an ever-increasing business in the sale and repair of agricultural implements and machinery. Less than a year later, Frank married Catherine Shunk, who would forever be remembered as an essential member of the Menomonee Falls community and a loving housewife and mother. Frank's father helped Frank buy a half-acre lot with a one-story shop, barn, and a white cottage with green shutters, which would become the Koehler's first home. The Koehler union welcomed 7 children: William, Marion, Lucy, Frank Jr., Jenny, Lily, and Walter. With Frank's wagon-making shop next to the cottage, the children played in wood chips and shavings, while farmers stopped to have broken wagon spokes repaired. If the crops were good, and there was some cash on hand, one farmer might even order one of those one-man top buggies, to the envy of the neighborhood. Times changed, and when factory buggies became popular, Frank transformed his wagon-making business, becoming a buggy salesman, and when automobiles supplanted horse-drawn vehicles, he then switched to selling farm implements. Frank built this house in 1893. It still stands on the corner of Garfield and Appleton Avenue. Note the cutaway curtain in the right window. This allowed Frank to watch out the window and keep an eye on his store next door. On that windowsill can still be found the carved initials WK, although no one knows or remembers if Willie or Walter left this lasting bit of artwork. When the new building was erected, the little cottage was moved to the back and rented out for a number of years. Later, it stood vacant. Vandals shattered the windows, the floors were creaking, and the green shutters no longer fit snugly. Mrs. Koehler thought to tear it down, but her son Willie said, "Let it stay, Mama." In 1909, Frank added REO automobile sales. That Christmas, he surprised the family with a 2-cylinder, 2-seated maroon topless touring car with a speed of 25 miles per hour. This was only the 3rd auto in our village of 900, and everyone would run out to see it, as you could hear it chugging down the street from a block away. In the background of this picture, you can see the Koehler's implement business. This horse-drawn hay tedder was entered in the 1915 4th of July parade. The sign, "Trade at Menomonee Falls and have no kick coming," was actually our village slogan. Standing next to the wagon is Frank's oldest son, William. William first married Annie Lund in June of 1917. 5 months later, he was elected the county clerk of Waukesha County. William married a second time in 1920 with his wedding to Clara Munns. He continued to hold the county clerk position for 25 years. Marion was a country school teacher when she met and married mining chemist Gustav Weber in September of 1911. Lucy Josephine was a teacher in Honolulu, Hawaii for many years, and occasionally would come back to the falls and give slide presentations about life and schools on the Hawaiian Islands. Frank Edgar Jr. was his father's right-hand man in the implement store until he was drafted as an Army mechanic in World War I. Jenny Emma graduated from UWM and became the head of the Home Economics Extension Department at the University of Rhode Island and was married to Professor of Animal Husbandry Roy Cooley. When Lily grew up, she became a teacher and taught in local schools until she married school principal Charles Karch. Walter, otherwise known as Beanie, worked as a weighmaster at the sugar beet factory. He graduated from UWM and became an agriculture instructor, and then bought a farm in 1932 in Palmyra, Missouri with his wife Grace. Patriarch of the family, Frank Koehler, spent 48 years in the village of Menomonee Falls, where he was industrious, frugal, and made a success in the way of business. He was a member of St. Paul's Evangelical Church and was a charter member of the Modern Woodman Camp that was organized in the early 1890s. He served as village trustee when the village was newly incorporated. He was also fire chief in the days of the horse-drawn fire engine, the firehouse right next to his implement shop. Frank died January 6, 1929. Catherine followed him in death 7 years later, and they're both buried in the family plot at Sunnyside Cemetery with 5 of their 7 children.